Black Tech Green Money? Head to iTunes or Google Podcasts and leave us 5 stars. Bonus points if you add a warm and fuzzy comment. I would appreciate it. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any new episodes when they drop. AfroTech 2016, San Francisco, California. Jessica Matthews, founder and CEO at Uncharted Power, is on the main stage giving a lightning talk about why she chose Harlem, New York as the headquarters for building world-changing energy and sustainability tech. She leans in on how acknowledgement and exposure to diversity of culture lends itself to better outcomes when building disruptive technologies for the benefit of every human on the planet.
I wanted my team, from walking from the subway to our office, to see the world. When we were downtown, you would see maybe 2 types of people living their lives all in one way. You move uptown, you see 7 types of people living their lives in 14 different ways. You see your rabbi on 96, you see your barber on 125th, but you literally, it's like CNN, it's like the world right in front of you just while you're going to work. Imagine then how your engineers will design, how your designers will build, how your marketing people will narrate, what they will say when they have the world around them. And as a result, it was actually really important to make sure that we also hired from the community, that we created a nonprofit called the Harlem Tech Fund with the specific purpose of making sure that we were ushering in urban renewal and not gentrification. To make sure that we were training a pipeline, that we were training a pipeline of people, of talent within Harlem that we could, Harlem and the Bronx, we gotta expand it. The Bronx people were not having it when we didn't include them. To make sure that we have that pipeline of people we can hire, that we can engage with, that we can work with.
I'm Will Lucas, and this is Black Tech Green Money. I'm going to introduce you to some of the biggest names, some of the brightest minds, and brilliant ideas. If you're black in building or simply using tech to secure your bag, this podcast is for you. Ronne Brown is the founder and CEO at Girl CEO, a multifaceted platform built specifically for female entrepreneurs and helps women learn how to become the CEO in their lives to reach the success they desire. She's built a hugely successful coaching and e-commerce business, and I asked Ronne, with so many people wanting to sell their merchandise online, how can we gauge if people even want what we have to offer?
Well, I think the biggest thing that they need to focus on is really not just focusing on getting a sale. The mistake that we make and a lot of people make is they solely focus on the sale and getting people to buy their stuff. There's a process that has to happen before people trust you. And I like to kind of compare building a business and really growing your audience. I like to compare that to dating. Right? Let me ask you, Will, when you date someone, do you trust them the first night that you meet them?
No, absolutely not.
Right? And what would you say it takes for you to begin to trust them? Would it be time?
Time, yes.
And when a woman is dating a man, I think that she normally determines if he's serious or not based on his what?
His attention to her, his commitment to her, his responsiveness to her, his level of communication to her, all those things.
Yep. And it's the word that kind of sums it up is consistency.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, that's good.
And that is the same way that we build relationships with our potential customers. You build a customer base and you build a community by positioning yourself to allow people to develop a relationship with you. And that relationship then leads to trust. And then after trust, you begin to open up and you put the wall down. It's just like dating. So we have to date our audience. We have to get to know them. We have to be authentic with them. We have to be consistent, meaning consistently showing up, putting out content, going live, having conversations with them, allowing yourself to be transparent about what you stand for. And after that happens, then you will be someone that they trust. And people buy from people they trust. So the way that you do it is building that trust.
So then talk to me about like that balance between working to build that brand and build that operation. Like how do you do both those things really, really well?
When you say build a brand and the operation, what do you mean?
Building the
Like
brand,
day to day?
those things going live, those things making sure my lights is hitting me right on my Instagram photos, or my tweets are on fire, and then at the same time trying to build this operation to support the actual business.
Yeah. So the way that I normally do that is there are two things. There is you working on your business, and then there is you working in your business,
Hmm.
right? What we make a mistake of thinking is that you immediately start working on your business, and once you start working on your business, which is you producing content, you going live, you putting the post out there, that you no longer have to work in your business. Okay, the goal is to work in your business first. All
Yeah,
right.
yeah,
And then build it up to a place where you can then delegate and that you can teach someone else how to work in your business so that you can transition out of working in the business and that you can work on the business. Working on the business is you doing the visual content, you making the decisions, you going to the meetings, you doing the podcast, doing the advertising, which will eventually drive traffic to the actual websites or to the brand overall. So there are two things. And I would definitely say that you have to take your hands off of it, which is what a lot of people struggle with is delegation.
yeah,
You have to
yeah.
have someone that you trust. I have my project manager here. She runs my life pretty much. And I trust her because she is the person who shows up. She is the person who is consistent. She is the person who thinks ahead. So we have to build a team. That's how
Yeah.
I do it. So I'm not going to get on here and bull crap you and say, oh yeah, you just do it all. No, you have to have a team to assist you. You have to have people that you can trust, and you can't be a person who is overpowering and not wanting to delegate.
So, girl CEO, when I think about being exposed to your brand and what you've built for yourself, you really help. And this is my description, so you might have a different description, but me looking inside to your what you pull out publicly, I see you as somebody who helps women, honestly just level up from, doing this thing into their kitchen and then actually making a real business that got licenses and permits and all, the actual LLC and an actual, paying taxes and et cetera. You help women level up, and not even just women, because that's some of that does spill over to being able to help men also, even though that may not be your target.
Yeah.
So when I think about that, is there are so many women who are still firsts these days because women haven't always had that opportunity to step up into the limelight and to be featured. What is it, based on your experience, you see women most need as more and more they get opportunities to be in the forefront?
I think that they need more women who are willing to share their platform with them, more women who are willing to market and promote them, and more women who are willing to give them less motivation and more resources, tools, and strategy.
Love that.
Like I go to I used to go to a ton of empowerment events, and I kind of scaled back from that because I'm already empowered, right? But at this point in my life, I need resources, I need information, I need strategy. So when I start asking questions like, what apps are you using? What software, are you using? Who built your funnel? Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
What lead generation tools are you currently using? Who's running your ads for your company? And what type of content that are you all putting out that's converting? Like those are the types of information that we need to scale a business.
That's really good. 'Cause it leads so well into this next thing that I've heard you talk about before. And it's how important is coaching to the success of an entrepreneur, like male or female. So much of what we do as business owners, and somebody's been there before. And even if you've been there before, you may want to go through it a better way than you did last time. Like, how much has coaching impacted your life and you advise for others?
Well, I'm a college dropout and I did not go to college at all. I probably went for 2 weeks, and I realized that being a teen mom with a son attempting to go to college, it was going to be very difficult for me. So I had to make a decision whether I was going to go to college and just stay here and wait the 4 years and wait for the degree and then go off and get a job, or was I just going to go to work because my son needed infant meal and he needed Pampers? So I eventually had to choose between making immediate money and staying in college. And I didn't have that six-figure, mom or dad that had the college fund saved up. For me, I grew up in the projects. So I had to make a decision. And of course, that decision was to go to work. And a lot of people ask me, okay, why is coaching important? And I believe that, and I'll probably get scrutinized for this, but I'm in a season where I have to say what I really feel is, if I had to choose again between college and being able to sit at the feet of a multimillionaire to learn how he did it, I would pay the multimillionaire to learn hands-on from him before I was to go and pay for a college degree.
You mentioned something. You just said a phrase there, paying a mentor.
Oh yeah, I
Paying.
believe in paying people for their
Talk to
time.
me about that. Because someone, we too many of us think that, just be my mentor. Like, we can go out to
No,
lunch, and that's the thing.
here's the thing. If I can get someone to just do something, if I approach someone and I'm talking to them about helping me grow my company and they're truly successful, all right? If they can just drop their business and dedicate their time to me, then I personally don't believe that they are successful. It is at that moment where I am going to say, hold on, something's not adding up. But successful people are going to require you to invest in yourself. And
Yeah.
it's not just because they need the money. Let me just say this: successful people think different. Successful people know that they have to pause their business, their day to day, to pour into you, which takes them away from their company, which then affects their income. But they also know the lack of dedication that people have when they don't invest in themselves, right?
Yeah.
How often is it that you see people sign up for stuff that is free and they don't show up and they don't follow through because they didn't invest in it? But when we sow a seed in that thing, baby, when we put our money in that thing, we
We
gonna
showing
be
up.
we showing up, right? I have yet to see people spend $1,000 or $2,000 on business coaching or some sort of course and just not take it. Now they may start and not finish, but very few are not going to show up at all. So the money is really just like the promise that you are going to follow through to yourself. And that's how you have to view it.
What do you think is not out of the realm of logical for paying a mentor? Should I be thinking a couple $100 or tens of dollars or thousands of dollars?
Well, I look at mentorship different. And that's just because as I've begun to grow, I see it just a little differently. I pay a certain amount of money, not for, I'm not really even looking for a lot of attention. I'm going to pay a certain amount of money to be in amongst people who are making a certain amount of money. I'm going to pay for access. I'm going to pay for network, right? So for me, for example, if I'm going to a conference, like if I'm coming to your conference, right? You guys have a conference. You've been having conferences for quite a while now,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
If you have a conference or a festival, I'm not going to buy a general admission ticket.
That's right. You want the platinum.
I'm going to go and I'm going to get the platinum.
That's
Now,
right.
in addition to that, I'm just not going to go get the platinum. I'm going to say, what's next? What's top tier? Is there a $1,000 ticket? Is there a $3,000 ticket? And the reason why I think that way is because I'm thinking of the network. I'm thinking of the access to the people who can also afford this level ticket and the information that they have in their minds, but also the amount of income that they're probably making and the potential business that we could probably do together in the future. So my mindset is a little different.
Bars. Bars. Love that. How do I know when it's time to invest in a coach?
I think that there are certain coaches for certain levels in your life. You know, there isn't a coach for every single thing. What I've learned and what I've personally experienced is that I've had coaches for every season. When I was making $40,000 a year, there was a coach that was going to help me get from 40 to 60, maybe. And then maybe I needed to work on public speaking, right? So there's a public speaking coach. Okay. Then there's a coach that specializes in systems. And that coach may take me from $60,000 a year to six figures. Okay. So I think it is really about knowing what phase you are in your business. That's the first thing. But also just knowing what your budget is, right? You may not always need to pay for a coach. I think when you are just starting out, you may need to join a community, because what you may need to do is get on fire, right? And the best way to get on fire is, sometimes you can't afford the coach. But what did they say? If you stand close to the fire, you get hot, you
That's
ready to
right.
run, you get pumped up. So you may need to start off with the community, right? We have our Girl CEO community. That's our lower tier, right? You may have your general admission. That's just to get you in the door, right, at the event. And then as you begin to grow your income, you'll scale up and go to the coach that is on your level financially at that time, that you can afford to invest in. And I believe in doing things based on where you are financially.
And so I'm going to ask a two-sided question, which I don't like to ask, but I think you can handle it. It's like, how do you, number one, find the right coach? And number two, what does a good coaching relationship look like? Because you just mentioned, you had a coach that took you from a few thousand to six figures. Like,
Right.
how does that happen? What does that relationship look like?
Yeah, so I coach a lot of women, and I've personally helped a lot of women go from, making $5,000 a month. I've had one that I most recently worked with, and I helped her go to $100,000 a month. But what it looks like is accountability. What I've seen over the years is that a lot of people are not struggling with just the information. They're not struggling with what to do. A lot of people come from corporate America. And when you are in corporate America, you have someone babysitting you almost. There's a manager, there's a supervisor, there's someone who's coming around the corner, you minimizing that screen and you popping it back up and getting back on Facebook. So you're used to playing the game, right? In corporate America, you're getting paid by the hour, or you're getting paid a salary. And most people have mastered doing just enough to stay employed so they can get that check every 2 weeks, right? So what happens is they transition over into entrepreneurship, and the same games that they played in their 9 to 5, they kind of come on over into their business. And they think that they can bull crap the business. And the thing about the business is, you only get out of the business what you put in.
That's right.
Right? So you will not cash a check in entrepreneurship that you did not work for. Okay. So how do you find a good coach? The first thing is you identify your issue, because some of us allow other people to diagnose us, but we really know deep down inside the area that we are lacking in. Some of the things that I personally look for when I'm looking for a coach is the amount of information that people are willing to give away for free. I'm going to say that one more time. Pay attention to the amount of information that people are willing to give away for free. Let me tell you why. When people don't have a lot to give, they have a scarcity mindset.
Yeah, stingy.
So they are so quick to ask for $1 because they don't know where their next idea, where their next payment, where the next thing, where the next thought is coming from. But when people have true wisdom, they are not afraid to share, because they know that it's just going to continue to attract people to them.
And there's more where that came from.
It's more. Like you fighting people off. I'm telling people I'm booked. I'm booked up all 2021. I am just that kind of person. So I observe. And if you are truly full of wisdom and knowledge, then you're always sharing wisdom and knowledge. Your systems, your apps, how you hire, where you get your people. You're not afraid to give that away, because what does it do? It's edifying you. So I pay attention. Top way to identify who's a good coach. Pay attention to who's really willing to give away a certain amount of information for free and not worry about a payment.
I mentioned this in the intro, but Ronne is a highly respected and in-demand coach. As an extension of her coaching business and as a way to scale herself and meet consumer demand, she designed a daily journal for entrepreneurs. While most journals might include prompts for daily tasks, hers encourages you to get detailed down to the hour. So I asked, how how scripted should an entrepreneur's day be? Ronne Brown speaks on it.
Well, I'm not gonna say it's scripted. I believe that either you control your day or the day controls you, right? I have a project manager and she helps me stay on task because I'm also a creative. So creative means I can create content all day. I love creating content. I love creating visions. I love helping people design their lives and their offers and all that kind of stuff, but I can get off task, right? So we have to be intentional with our day. And if we are not intentional with our day, then we run into distractions. So it's very important that you're not scripted, but you are intentional with running your business on a schedule. If you want to be successful, then there is something called a routine. There are two things that you need to have to be successful: is discipline, right? And routine. Once you master those two things, nothing and no one can stop you. So hell yes, you need to be on an hourly schedule if you want to be productive.
So for those people, well, let me ask you this way. How did you know you were ready to afford an assistant, that project manager, that somebody who's like walking hand in hand with you? Because that's an expense. It's not really like bringing in money directly, maybe indirectly, yes. So how did you know you were both ready for that? And how, app-wise, because you mentioned this a few times, how do you operationalize your life pre-assistant?
Yeah, so you can use a written calendar. I don't function well with digital calendars, if I can just be honest. I'm really old school. I need to see it in front of me. So I need to see it in writing. I need to see a time. I need to see things in front of me. So prior to me having a project manager, I was really writing things down. I tried the iPhone stuff. That doesn't work for me. It's too many dings going off at a certain time of the day, and I won't even know what it is. So I had to write it down. That's the first thing. And as far as knowing when I can afford that, that is something that I sat down and I kind of looked at my income, right? My accountant always talks about knowing where you are. Sometimes we think we are somewhere and we aren't there, right? So you got to know your numbers. And your numbers are not, I bought something for $50, I sold it for $100, I made a $50 profit, right? Your numbers are, I bought something for $50 and I sold it for $100, but then I minus my expenses, my shipping, my materials, my supplies, my website. So that's how you get to your true number, right? A lot of us are looking at the gross. We got to look at the net.
Yes.
Net is minus the expenses. And once I looked at that, that's okay. I can budget this in. I have about 6 people on my team right now. I knew that I can afford that because I was willing to be on, and let me go and be a little more honest. I was also willing to make sacrifices to be able to afford that. So I'm doing my own hair. For a while I didn't get my nails done. I was wearing a hoodie for like 6 months. Same hoodie, same sweatpants, same Girl Seal hoodie. People thought I was repping a brand, but I'm like, I ain't shopping. I'm not shopping out here. Like, I'm just about to really grind it out. You know what I'm saying? So it's just thinking a little different. Like, I'm not about to go out to eat. I'm gonna just do these home cooked meals. Like, I had to sacrifice.
At what point did you know this was the best investment I could have made because I'm seeing the success elsewhere?
Because when it's just you begin to trust yourself too much. And when there is no quality control, there is no one there to tell you that something is wrong. And when there's no correction, there's no growth. So I needed someone who was strong-minded, that could put me in my place, that could give me honest opinion. That's why I have Shannon. I needed someone who specialized in different things because the most valuable thing that you have is your time, right? And you have to understand that you need your time to grow the company. And if you truly want to grow something, then you need to be 100% focused on your gift. My gift is not project management. My gift is not graphic design. My gift is definitely not shipping and fulfillment, right?
Yeah.
So I need to put people in those positions so that I can operate in my gift, which is talking, as you can probably tell.
It's good.
Which is marketing, which is selling, which is creating content, which is networking. I love people. I needed to be in my lane so that I can grow and evolve.
You said before, I was watching a YouTube video and you were talking about like you should not just get into business to make money. Talk to me about, because I would imagine some people say, well, isn't that the point?
So let me just say this. You get into business to make impact, right? Once you start making impact, you'll make money. And if you are passionate about the impact that you are making, you're going to have to fight the money away. But if it's only about money, if it's only about profit, you're going to have times when you wake up and the profit isn't going to be there. Like people see Ronne Brown, oh, Ronne Brown, she got girl CEO, she has it going on. Okay, but did y'all see that morning where I woke up and them sales said zip zero, zip zippity zero? My life was not, it wasn't like this. Like there were days where I cried in the car. You ever cry in a car before?
Man,
You ever leave a meeting and cry in the car, and you know how you turn the music down? And that's when you turn that music off and you just ride in silence, you just think about every single thing that's not working in your life. I've had those moments. I've cried. You ever have to put some foundation on real quick to cover up the teardrops that was going down because you over here, you 500 short on your rent or your mortgage because you sit there and said you were going to bet on yourself? Like we have to understand that there are going to be moments where the money is not going to be there. But that's when your passion is tested, right? You have to be passionate. And your passion and you remembering why you are doing what you're doing, like it's the gas for the car. Like that's going to be the thing that you're going to need to fuel you up when you about to give up. And it won't be money. It's not going to be money. It has to be the feeling or the person you're serving, or you making a difference in someone else's life, because you're going to have to do a whole lot of that for free before the money comes along.
I kind of want to come full circle to something we talked about earlier, because I'm glad we have this foundation for this next question. And is, what are some of the strongest ways people can build a brand online? Just the branding part, because you talked a lot about impact here today. You talked a lot about trust and building that, mutual trust between you and the people who you're trying to serve. And I would imagine like there's so many people out there who are like, I have trust, but my numbers aren't growing on IG or TikTok or Facebook or whatever.
Yeah, I think that we need to focus less on numbers, right? When I say numbers, I'm speaking numbers as in followers.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. I have a lot of people who have 50,000 followers, but they're making $50,000 a month. I have people who have 200,000 followers and they're in my inbox saying, "Hey, Ronnie, I need your help because I can't monetize my page. I get 5,000, 10,000 likes on the picture, but no one's buying anything from me." So I just want us in 2021, you know how everyone's doing the let's normalize.
Yeah.
Can we normalize not thinking that a follower count determines the intelligence or the level of success that someone has? Because there are people with very little followers that are killing it in sales right now. So I just want to say that. And then the next thing, your next question was like building a brand. Like, how do you do that? I'm going to say this over and over every time someone asks me this. Let me ask you a question, Will.
Yeah.
When you see a yellow arch, what do you think about?
McDonald's.
If you see a silver apple, what do you think about?
Apple.
Okay. Why do you think about those companies? Because you've seen them over and over and over and over again. They are literally like embedded into your brain, that every time you think of an arch, you know it's McDonald's.
Yeah.
Anytime you see an Apple sign, you don't even think of a fruit. You think of a tech company.
That's right.
How is that possible? Because the more we see something, we remember it. And the brand presence is there, right? Consistency. It's consistency. It's visibility. The key is being consistent and being visible. That's how you build a brand, right? The more you show up and the more people see your brand over and over, they get to know it. They remember it, right? It begins to just sink into their minds. And that's how you start building a brand. And the reason why you see companies winning is because they're consistent. There are some people that are much more talented. They have a better product, They aren't consistent.
Yeah. So let's talk about, because investing in that brand online on social media. How should people be thinking about investing in like sponsored ads on IG and Facebook? How do you think about that?
Well, I think ads are really tricky right now, Will. Let's just be honest. I go on Clubhouse and I am just one of those people where I'm like, don't bullshit me. Let's be honest. I don't know if I can curse on here, but
Yeah,
I do
you're
curse.
good. You're good.
I love Jesus and I curse. Okay? But
Yes.
I am one of those people where I'm just a straight shooter.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Yeah.
I hear everyone saying, run ads, run ads, run ads, run ads, run ads. And I'm like, okay, run ads. But normally the people who are saying run ads, run ads, run ads, run ads are people who are actually going to be on the fence over here waiting for you to say, so how much are you going to charge, to run these ads? They're the people who run the ads for you. And either they're trying to get a percentage of your company or they have a retainer that's at least $3,000 or more. Okay. So how does Ronnie feel about running ads? Ronnie feels like you can run ads all day, but when we are running ads, you are paying for visibility. You're not paying just for the click. Okay. Right. You're paying for visibility and you're paying for the click, but you're not paying when they buy. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
let me clarify this. You can pay for an ad, right? If someone clicks on that ad and they saw that ad and they went to that website, you're paying. So you get 1 million people to click on it and go to the website. But what did I miss out on? What is something I didn't say during this time? I never said that
You
they
sold
bought
anything?
it.
Yeah. They ain't bought nothing yet.
They ain't bought nothing yet. So the thing that happens with these ads is that you are paying to play, but you are not paying just because someone's buying from you. You can get 1 million people to go to that ad, you're going to pay, but you didn't sell anything. So you got to have a little money to play with when it comes to these ads. And it all goes back to one thing. It goes back to the content, because you can spend millions of dollars on ads, but if the content is trash, it's not going to convert. It's all about conversions, right? We're not paying money to get people to just look at something and to just click on it. The goal is to convert that lead into a sale. And if that lead is not turning into a sale, we over here losing money, bruh. We're not doing this for fun. We're trying to get paid. So when we are telling people to go run ads, we need to make sure that we're telling them a few things. You pay for views that may not always turn into a sale. And you also have to pay the person who is running the ad for you, okay, which normally starts at about $2,000 to $3,000 minimum. Okay. And now they're getting so good. They're getting so spoiled out here. They might even say, hey, give me a percentage of your sales, right? I don't care if you spend 10 years building this brand. I want 10% of your sales. I want 5% or whatever. I think they're asking for 5%. So most are asking for 5%. Okay. And then you have to have that ad budget set aside. So how much you got to play with every day? Is it 150 a day? Is it 500 a day? And this is where it gets expensive. But if you go and you create some organic content that organically drives people to your page, hey, you do that for free. You can get new followers all day. Is it educating? Is it entertaining? Is it informative? Right? That'll give you quality leads for free.
So should I be thinking about, if I do run ads, then I am just trying to put myself into the feed of people who may not know I exist, to broaden my audience and potential customer base?
But the thing you have to keep in mind is when we talk about sales, it normally takes about 9 touches, or they say 9 times almost, for someone to see something before they actually make a purchase, right? So you can put yourself in front of those people all day that you don't know. That's your cold market, right? But what you can also do, if you're going to run an ad, you can do a lookalike audience. I would rather do a lookalike audience because that means these are audiences that follow someone that already follows me, right? They have something in common. They've followed one of my friends, or they've seen my page or something of that nature. But when you are working with a cold market, you're going to have to spend a little more money, and you're going to have to put a little more effort into that content for it to convert, because they already got their guards up. They're saying ads all day right now.
No. I would imagine with a strong brand, you open up your options for what you can offer as products. Like, how should people think about, okay, I've got this strong brand or a budding brand. What should I sell?
Yeah, you should ask your audience what they want for you. That's the first mistake that people make. They say, what should I sell? No, you should be saying, what does my audience want me to sell? And then you should ask your audience what it is that they want from you. And I think that many people are hesitant to do that because they feel like it makes them less qualified or they seem uncertain about themselves. But I believe that we have to give people what they want. In sales, the goal is not to give people what we want to give them. I see so many women, they go and, oh, I'm starting a boutique. Well, no one thinks you're fashionable. No one follows you for fashion. Who told you to do that? You're not Fashion Nova, you know,
Right.
but no one's, I tell people when they come to me, I say, how many people do you have in your DMs asking you, where did you get that from? If this is your calling, then it will track you down. So if you have DMs of hundreds of people saying, where did you get that?
Right.
Then you know that people want that from you.
It's
But
a
you just
reality
can't-
check right now.
No, seriously.
It's a whole lot of bubbles getting burst right on this episode.
We gotta start telling people the truth. Will, if we love our people, we have to be honest
man.
with them, right? It's like I have women that have taken their whole refund check, $5,000, $10,000, and they've gone to start this boutique. Next thing you know, 6 days later, blowout sale. Hell, you just launched. How's it a blowout sale already? Why is there a sale happening?
Right. Oh man.
In the first 2 weeks? It's because this is what you wanted to give people. And if you would have just asked the people, what do you guys want more of from me? What would you like from me? Do a poll, put it on your feed, and ask the people. That's what I did, right? I asked the people, what do you want? I want you to teach more, Ronnie. I want you to build this community. I want to be able to work with you. I want you to help me build my business, right? I want you to create products that help us be more productive, right?
Yeah.
And I started getting tons of messages. What do you use in your skin? How do you lose weight? What do you like? You have to pay attention to what the people want from you. You can't give them what you want to give them. Give them what they want from you.
You talked about like the levels of people who buy into your coaching programs, and I would imagine just in working with folks that the large majority of what you're doing, especially in with the earlier people in their entrepreneurial journey, is confidence building. I would imagine you're spending a lot of time just helping them build their confidence to that they can believe they can go to the next stage. For those people who are listening that think they need the strategies and tactics, but really they need somebody to say, like, boo boo, you can do this. What do you say?
There is no easy answer to that question, Will. The truth is, we come from a space of generational trauma. And one of the things that I would say is when I was growing up, I didn't have parents that told me to go out and start a business. And it's not because my parents didn't believe in me, Will. It wasn't because my mom didn't think I was smart enough. It wasn't because they didn't see the gifts inside of me. As a Black woman, we come from being taught to go and work for other ethnicities. And that's when our friends say things like, let's go out and have a drink, new job, toast. But you come and you say, hey, I started a company. And they're like,
yeah.
So our parents, they didn't know any better. A lot of our parents, they weren't educated enough. And when I hear, especially the African American people, Black people saying, my parents don't support me. My parents, they're my biggest haters, right? My parents don't believe in me. Sometimes I have to check them and I have to say, listen, your parents didn't understand or know that this was even possible. Give your parents some grace. No one taught your parents about ownership, right? When I walked away from my government job years ago, my mother was scared to death. She said, you about to what? You about to leave the government? The government was the safest place that you could work. you know? So I just want to stress, it comes from trauma. And then that trauma rolls over to you, right? So you don't believe that you could own a business. You don't believe that you can make $1 million. You don't believe that you can own multiple properties. You don't believe that you can drive your dream car. You don't believe that you can employ people because no one ever spoke their life into you. And that's really where I see it starting off at.
Black Tech Green Money is a production of Blavity AfroTech. It's produced by Morgan DeBon and me, Will Lucas, with additional production support by Love Beach and Raven Nearbor. Special thank you to Micah Davis and Sakara Savanyan. You know, like the wine? Yes, that's his real name. Learn more about my guests and other tech disruptors and innovators at afrotech.com. Go get your money. Peace and love.